All right, folks, welcome back to AI Analysis via Statistics. I'm Ira Whiteside, and today we're diving into something that, honestly, if you've worked with data for more than 3 days, you've probably stubbed your toe on: metadata. Not the glitzy AI-generated dashboards everyone loves to demo, but the real nuts and bolts stuff. Why does it matter? Because structured metadata is what separates just finding files in a folder from actually making sense of complex data sets across a business or, frankly, an entire industry. It's what lets you actually retrieve what you need when you need it and make analysis so much less painful. I will take you through what our specially prepared metadata and Notebook LM will do for you. Let's start basic. Table names, column names, and something I can't hammer enough: descriptions. Seriously, I don't know why so many projects just skip this step. You get the table name, say patient records, and then columns like DOB or status. Fine. But without solid descriptions, you're lost. I'll give you a real-world headache. We had this healthcare project a while back, big claim system migration. Everything looked fine on the surface until, boom, we realized nobody had documented what status meant in each context. Was it a bill status, patient status, or admission status? We spent weeks, and I mean weeks, just tracking down what these codes actually meant. Would have taken a coffee in 20 minutes if someone had captured it up front. So step by step, grab those table names, column names, use a tool or even just the spreadsheet, and always add a description and specifications, data type, max length, precision. Especially in fields like finance or healthcare, that stuff's gold when you've got to validate, clean, or migrate later. And if you want this to scale for analytics or AI routines, structuring metadata right at the beginning is honestly the best investment you'll ever make. We talked about foundations and context a bit in our earlier episodes, and this is really at the core: structured, clear metadata. So now that you've got your metadata in place and descriptions nailed down, the real fun begins: automated content analysis and quality routines. If you've listened before, you'll remember some of Scott and my favorite profiling routines: table stat, column stat, domain stat. These aren't flashy names, but they're workhorses. Table stat gives you the lay of the land: database name, schema, table, how many records, columns. Simple but critical. Column stat digs deeper. Now we're looking at data types, max lengths, distinct values, mean, standard deviation, nulls, blanks, completeness, the works. Why does it matter? Distinct domain count and null domain ratio, for example. You'd be shocked how often those two alone will give away business process problems or hidden issues. Like, if you see a high null domain ratio where you expect every record to have a value, that's a waving red flag. And completeness is a great quick health check. Are you getting the data you think you are? I'll admit, completeness is one I always go back to. Sometimes it's embarrassingly low. And, as these routines mature, we're seeing data quality scoring evolve even more. There's new stuff I've been banging on in my own test beds: a clean string routine to sniff out unwanted characters, regex pattern matching for structure, and fuzzy matching like Jaro Winkler. I always joke the first time I tried getting Jaro Winkler running in an ETL, I got more mismatches than matches. But once you tweak the thresholds, it's amazing for deduplicating names or catching subtle typos. With these routines, you're not just getting, is this data populated? You're seeing real, actionable trends and issues. It really builds on what we discussed in episode 7 about metadata and frequency analysis. These are concrete tools to make that analysis not just theoretical, but real, operational, and ready for AI-driven workflows, not just dashboards. So, let's say you've profiled your data. You've got all these stats. Now what? Here's where it gets pretty interesting. And it's actually where a lot of organizations get stuck. It's not enough just to run profiling routines and stack up columns of stats. The goal is to make those insights accessible and, honestly, shareable. That's where bringing in narrative generation scripts comes in. taking the profiling output and turning it into plain language that a compliance officer or business exec can actually use. The workflow is pretty straightforward, even if the tech behind it gets a little dense. You run your data profiling, gather all those table stat, column stat, domain stat tables, then you feed them into a script. That script's job is to connect the dots, tell you, hey, this table is missing a bunch of records, or this field is always blank. All it needs are three inputs: the database name, schema focus, which is null if you want everything, and table focus. Use % for every table. It spits out a narrative you can share. Here's the kicker. Once you have those narratives, you can upload them directly to a platform like NotebookLM, which is, for those who missed episode 7, an AI-powered research assistant. It organizes your findings and even helps generate new insights based on the metadata you provided. I did this for a major bank's compliance audit, instead of back and forth with the legal team for weeks, because trust me, nobody wants that. We used these auto-generated write-ups to get everyone on the same page fast. The audit went smoother, everybody was less cranky, and the collaborative sharing of metadata really unlocked a whole new level of knowledge exchange. That's the big picture. If you capture metadata up front, automate your profiling and quality checks, and then feed those results into a narrative generator, you're able to share, collaborate, and innovate way faster. So give it a go with your own data sets. Oh, and next time, we'll dig into how to put these insights into a data governance framework that actually sticks. Until then, keep those narratives flowing.